And welcome back to another episode of the Overlooking Podcast. My name is Brenden. Thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. You can also rate the podcast and review the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. It would also be greatly appreciated. We're talking strictly Eagles today, and we are reacting. Game finished about 45 minutes ago, and I'm reacting to the Eagles win 24-7 over the Minnesota Vikings. We're doing it with my friend Thomas Petersen. Thomas, it is currently 6:15 a.m. where you are today. You don't look a bit tired, and I think I know why. How are we doing today?
Because of coffee.
I'm sure coffee's the only reason why. Maybe not just a little bit of adrenaline and happiness is how come.
Yeah. So the last several night games the Eagles have been playing, they've been embarrassed by Cowboys a couple of times, and it's so bad getting up in the middle of the night and watching bad football. And tonight was not one of them. And now there's no way I'm going to sleep because, and it's a good thing. All the happiness boiling inside. That was so fun.
To watch that game.
What a perfect game!
I think I said it to you. I think I messaged you at halftime. Like, are you having fun?
Are you having fun?
I know it's a weird way to kind of just describe a game, but just from an Eagles perspective, you try to keep the fan out of it. But I have to say this: it was fun to watch as Eagles fan. Like you said, it was fun to watch them on prime time, kind of week 2 in this performance, because I actually looked up the Eagles are 0-5 in the last week 2 games. I know it was a random stat, but they've this has been like a slower part for the Eagles. After a week 1, they kind of have flopped after, but to see them just completely dominate on Monday Night Football after a week 1 win, it was I thought it was really important for this team, and I thought it was I thought it was dominant performance and just kind of put the league on notice. I know it's kind of big picture talk right out the gate, but I feel like that's kind of just my first reaction to this game was this Eagle team's legit, and they just proved it on primetime.
Yeah, it was a good measuring game for the team early, because the Lions, you don't really know what to make of them because they can really. Turns out that they kept all of their positives going against Washington, but really after the game, you had no idea what it really was and what are the Lions, what are they good at, and how much can you take away from that game. And now you're going against the Vikings team that everybody was raving about after week 1 and how Kevin O'Connell revitalized Kirk Cousins and the whole offense and then scheme and them dominating Green Bay. As well, not dominating. I mean, kind of dominating.
They whooped Green Bay.
They whooped Green Bay. There were some Christian Watson drop stuff and all that. But that's true. They handily beat the Packers last week, so they were riding high, and they have a good defense. That's really. I know we're getting right into it, but this was a good game for the Eagles to show out in because the Vikings have fast linebackers, and really, when you look at what Jalen Hurts does so well in last game, where he's running around and creating stuff with his legs, that doesn't work as much when you're going against really athletic linebackers and a fast back end of a defense. And we saw that today as well. They didn't win because of Jalen Hurts' legs. He had the 23-yard touchdown run where Dallas Goedert was the lead blocker, but that was set up to be a pass play, and he took off. The designed runs didn't really work too well against the Vikings today, so he carved them up. They won because of his throwing ability, and then complemented that with occasional runs.
Let's just dive into it. Let's start with the Jalen Hurts side of things. I think you explained that very well. Just doing against the Vikings defense. It's important. They shut down Aaron Rodgers last week, right? That's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So to come back and do that, this Jalen Hurts in this offense, it was a really good sign. So the Eagles win, of course, 24-7. We'll start there. The first half was I didn't want to put Monday Night Massacre maybe vibes from it at the beginning, but you kind of had that a little bit feeling, right? The Michael Vick game against Washington on Monday night. Jalen Hurts out the gate was on fire. I think he completed first 10 passes. I believe, right? He was 10 for 10 with over 100 yards kind of right out the gate.
He was 9 for 9 for sure, but I think he went 10.
I think his 11th pass was his first in completion. So coming out the gate 10 for 10, and that was the best half quarterback, best half of football I've seen an Eagles quarterback play in a very, very long time. It's got to be the Vic game. I can't remember maybe before that. And I think the Eagles PR team had a tweet about this was the first time since I think it was Nick Foles at Oakland Raiders game when he threw the 7 touchdown passes. I think there was a stack that combined saying that was the best half since then. So that was 2013, goes to show. It's been over 9 years since an Eagles quarterback has played like that in the first half before.
Yeah, and it was really good to see that they didn't really take advantage of too many like blitzing situations or Vikings leaving themselves vulnerable in the back end to open up the passing game and like creating a big play that suddenly makes the stats look tremendous, but actually it's a lot of think and dunker than a big play when they blitz. This was Jalen Hurts systematically carving out the Vikings defense and spreading the ball out to whoever was open on the read. It wasn't all this garbage about forcing it to AJ Brown when clearly last week the tape showed it was just AJ Brown who was the open guy, and we
So
got
you're
the
not worried about Devonta Smith, then, is what you're saying?
he
It was a
he
popular
tied his
topic of conversation this week. Like even like Eagles coaches were kind of emphasizing they needed to get him going, and it was kind of the talk all week. And I would say that conversation is probably over now.
Oh yeah. He
Yeah.
tied his career high for catches. Um, and it was the perfect complementary thing. We saw like Devontae Smith being this crisp route runner and moving the chains basically whenever he touched the ball. AJ Brown making some really good things happen after the catch, and I mean, that one he took over the middle and make three guys miss and then pick up another 15 yards. Quest Watkins burning them down the field. Man, that throw Jalen Hurts had to Quest Watkins when he was rolling to his left, setting up and then throwing, and then the tiptoe catch from Quest like 30 yards down the field. And then it gets called back by some
Yeah,
nitpicky holding that, yeah,
yeah,
sure, it was there, but
it was there,
garbage.
but
These
I agree.
refs in this game was so freaking
Yeah,
nitpicky.
they were.
And it was so weird because they called the like 3 yards downfield, and it was illegal man downfield, and it was to the yard. There was no
The one on Isaac Solomalu, the third one, he was about 3.5 yards. I didn't really get that one. He wasn't. The other two were, and again, it was nitpicky. But
I mean, they
the third
were,
one
but
was
it happens every single game for every offense, and usually they kind of let it go, and it's frustrating when you're a defensive player and they don't call it, but really that's just how it is. And then some of these holdings, the one on Jason Kelsey as well, later in the game they called for a hold. It was on like it got declined, but it was just the level of nitpickiness from these refs in this game. And then Marcus Epps absolutely destroys a dude
yeah.
where you could have 100% called hit on the defenseless receiver,
The one
and
on
they're just like,
right? Yeah.
we'll let him play.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, the refs are all over the place in the first half. Just to kind of to piggyback onto how good of a first half Hurts had. So, Jalen Hurts in the first half, 17 to 20, 301 total yards, 3 touchdowns. The Vikings offense only had 93 yards in total in the first half, and they had 1 touchdown. Jalen Hurts in the Eagles offense had 347 yards in the first half. That's the most by any NFL team through 2 weeks. No other offense had more than 288. But yeah, you were right. The way they were kind of getting that 10, I feel like that 10 to 15 yard kind of 10 to 20 yard, that intermediate field part of the field was money in the pass situations all game. I would love to see kind of the passing chart. I don't have it in front of me, but hey, he gave what the defense gave him. He took what the defense gave him. Sorry. And we were having this conversation before we jumped on. The last week against the Detroit Lions, they blitzed Jalen Hurts a lot for some reason. It's usually not. Jalen Hurts was actually pretty good against the blitz last year. He was 13th in passer rating when blitz last year. It wasn't one of his weak suits. Sorry. So for the Lions to do that, I was kind of curious. And then the Vikings that you brought up today before the podcast, that the Vikings kind of copied the Tampa Bay Buccaneers style defensive Todd Bowles throughout the playoff game, which is what probably defensive coaches should be doing against Hurts, or what you think they should be doing against Hurts, which is having kind of too high coverage, make him sure that he can try to read the defense. Don't blitz him. Don't let him create plays with his legs, because he carved the Lions in man coverage last week. So for him to kind of do it against a different style of defense, my opinion, is super important. And this was a huge stock up game for the Eagles' young franchise quarterback right now.
And last week, we saw him run as much as he did, and you could kind of worry a little bit that maybe that will trigger that. We've been talking so many times about this rushing gene and the panic button that sometimes can go off a little bit. And when you have a game like the Lions where he's running as much as he is, and then going into the next week where suddenly there's no pressure at all. And like, do you panic a little bit? Do you start feeling the pressure even though it's not there? And he didn't at all. He just stood calm in the pocket. He maneuvered well around there.
Yep.
So that whole worry got shut down. And just to your point, in terms of attacking the middle, that narrative got shut down as well today. Hurts between the numbers, 15 for 17, 82 yards, a touchdown. That one interception off of Kenneth Gainwell drop. That was, that was a bogus drop.
Yeah.
So not on him at all. So he was money. He was so if Kenneth Gainwell doesn't drop that pass, that's 16 for 17 for 228 plus whatever Gainwell would have gotten between the numbers. I'm telling you, man.
It was like I was kind of baffled. I was kind of taken away. I was like, whoa, like what am I watching? Kind of thing.
Right.
Right? Like this is the best game of Jalen Hurts' career. We haven't seen this before. Not on this scale. Okay. Like
no,
I
not
think
on this scale.
Yeah. I don't think like this was a consistent one half of passing dominance. Like this was like top 5 quarterback play in the NFL. I'm trying to hold myself back because I know like it's a post game pod. There's a lot of emotions. You got a lot of like big takes you want to throw out there, but I don't like it's not crazy to say like that was what Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. That's what the top
it's a franchise QB
like.
game.
Yeah,
this is what it looks like when a franchise quarterback is developing.
Yeah, it was very like it reminded me like again Patrick Mahomes is a crazy comparison, but he had that feeling of like watching the Chiefs offense, but like just carve you up down the field. Like we saw it firsthand with Herbert and Mahomes what they did to Eagles last year. It was like that, like the 10, 15-yard consistently hitting passes like that. And then when he threw that deep bomb to Quez Watkins, it was on the money. It was beautiful. And it was one of those where you could tell Hurts, like he kind of looked to the left. I took that safety out. Watkins ran right by. You could tell that was drawn up in practice. You could tell that was a deep shot you hit. Like that's exactly what you wanted to see from a guy. We didn't see a lot of that last year, right? Like he does throw a pretty deep ball, but it almost because he doesn't sit back in the pocket enough. He kind of takes off sometimes earlier. He did last year. He didn't have the time to let those plays develop. You had those that one clip from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. He missed a lot of deep shots because Watkins in that game as well. So that was exactly like you said, what you wanted to see from a developing franchise quarterback.
Yeah, and to that to those examples specifically, we remember like there's all of the positive plays and there's all the completions that were moving the chains, but really two of the best throws are hidden in the negative stats, like his incompletion to Dallas Goedert in triple coverage. Really, he's putting it where only Dallas Goedert can go up and get it, and Goddard drops it. Has it ripped out of his hands, but he has to catch that ball. It's right there for him. He has around a second in midair to clutch the ball in and secure the catch. And then that play to Quez Watkins that gets called back by a penalty. So even within those stats that you don't really look at, and the interception, that was a good pass for Kenneth Gainwell. Should have caught. It was really for Hurts. This was a near flawless game, if not flawless. Like I'm holding back on it simply because we haven't seen the tape, we haven't seen the all 22 of what else was on the field. But this was about as close to a flawless game that you can come from an immediate reaction.
The first half was perfect. Like he didn't make any mistakes. It was all perfect. Like
and also don't think that we can like we're talking a little bit about the second half here, Brenden, because I don't think that he had a bad second half either. But really, the second half was it's reassuring when you have that bad of a second half where it's really them shooting themselves in the foot. They're in the red zone. They get 2 pre-snap penalties to move them from 3rd and 2 on the Vikings 10-yard line to getting into a 3rd and long, and then not converting, and then settling for a field goal that gets blocked. And then right after you have a Kenneth Gainwell drop that gets picked off instead. And then you have the next drive. That's the Quez Watkins 33 yards down the field that gets negated by a holding penalty. So that's 3 drives where you don't get points because of the field goal block and because of pre-snap penalties. You don't get points and you give the ball back to the Vikings because of the drop pass. It becomes an interception, and you don't get points because Quez Watkins pass gets called back by a holding, and that sets up a long situation there. So there's so much meat on the bone left for the offense, despite them looking as good as they did.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really well said. And I don't think they had a bad second half.
No, not at all.
I had no doubt in my mind if at that moment during that game, if the Vikings were say to keep putting up points, that Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense would have continued match for match and went punch for punch with Vikings if that happened. like that. I had that confidence in the Eagles offense to continually move the ball. And again, this is probably the first time that many Eagles fans felt like that when Jalen Hurts was there, where your quarterback can pick apart this defense with his arm. This was his coming out party. Like this is that. I think that's we're probably gonna remember this game, right? Jalen Hurts coming up. This was his putting him on the pedestal. It kind of reminds me of, was it week 4 against Washington on Monday night with Carson Wentz's kind of coming up party in 2017. That was when he had the escape sack. He threw that he rolled out and threw that pass to Corey Clement in the back of the end zone. That was when Carson. That's when I was kind of like, holy shit, the Eagles might have the MVP of the league. I can't remember if that was like week 4, 5, 6, 7, something like that. But kind of had those vibes too. I know I'm like reminiscing on old Eagles quarterback performances, comparing it to it, but yeah, this was Jalen Hurts.
It's the kind of game where you want to do that, right?
Yeah, the whole world to watch. And off topic here, but I hate the 7:15 and 8:30 game starts here. What are we doing here, NFL? Why do we need 2 games on at the same time in prime time?
I mean, I'm not complaining, because when I'm sitting here in the middle of the night and there's commercials rolling, okay, I'm scrolling through the other game to see what was happening in that one. So
for different time zones for sure, but Eastern, where
I get that.
I have this weird trait where I just consider Eastern time should be the only time. I'm so like time mean to people. Like I hate when West Coast games start at 10. Like when NBA playoff games start at like 9:30 at night, it drives me fucking nuts. Or playoff games, NHL playoff games, or whatever. But yeah, that was besides the point. I feel like a lot of Eagles fans were pissed, or Bills fans, Titans fans, whatnot. I'm assuming the other 2018 fan bases didn't mind too much. But anyways,
want to talk about the defense?
Yeah, anything more on the offense? I think we should. I do want to give some love to the skill position guys. Like they really showed out tonight, and that was one of my other bigger takeaways, is just how good and how well they fit together. Everyone, so like Dallas Goedert, 5 catches, 82 yards. Devonta Smith, 7 catches, 80 yards. Quez Watkins, 2 catches, 69 yards. AJ Brown, 5 catches, 69 yards. Zach Pascal had a big third down conversion. He had 2 catches, 14 yards.
But remember, Hurts needs to spread the ball around more.
Yeah. That narrative just goes right down the toilet.
There's so many narratives in week 1.
Like these guys complement each other really well.
Well.
Like they look. It looks like a well-oiled machine when it's clicking. It's right. Not like this. This was not at all what week 1 looked like. This proves that they can beat you in many different ways. They can beat you now when AJ Brown dominates the game. They have a legit weapon that can do that. And now this proves that they can beat you with spreading the ball around and everyone getting their touches and everyone getting a piece of the cake. And
right. Of course, everybody's buddy when you're winning, but it just seems like this group of skill position guys, they believe in the system so much and the chemistry that really all transpires because of Jalen Hurts as the centerpiece of that, because that's just the natural way that he's doing things and the way he gets people to leads by example is probably the way to go about it. That you can just tell this is a well-oiled machine where nobody's selfish. Everybody knows that this offense is going to work together, and it can work when everybody's doing their part.
Mm-hmm. Offensive line was also, I thought, pretty solid today. The like you said, the penalties were kind of annoying.
Miles Sanders once again, really good performance by him, like consistently moving the ball.
They kept giving him the ball, which I thought which I liked with Sirianni. They didn't kind of take his confidence away. Like he had 17 carries in the game in total for 80 yards. And the first few runs were kind of rough. Like the Eagles kind of struggled with the run game when they kind of forced the passing game, but they needed him towards the end, and he got some nice gains kind of towards like late half second quarter going into the third, and he really showed his burst. He looks really good. This looks like the best version of Miles Sanders we've seen in Philly since he's been here. Like he's got that juice back.
Yeah, definitely. Boston Scott had a nice draw play as well.
Looks like Gainwell's kind of fallen down the depth chart a little bit here, but I think he's just like he's really good at pass blocking, and I don't know if Miles Sanders and Boston Scott are up to that level, so maybe he'll have a
really good pass blocking. And also, I mean, he's a good runner. I mean, Gainwell really has that he finds the gap that he needs to, and then just plows through it. And he has really good balance and contact balance to keep driving forward for some extra yards.
Yeah,
but yeah, can't make mistakes like the one he did today. I mean, he had some tremendous blocking, and really a all around game last week, and then. The way you kind of lose reps is by going out and making really the standout bad play for the offense.
I think that's it on the offense.
Mhm.
Defense. I think that again we'll remember this game from the Jalen Hurts side of things, but maybe a little bit Jonathan Gannon revenge game. What do you think? Shutting down all the haters. I don't know if it was more of you have to give Gannon some love here. We can't just when they
Yeah.
play bad, you get pissed at him. When he plays well, you don't give him love. Like that can't happen. That's not the way
Nah.
things go. But my
Oh,
God,
kind of
Darius,
simple.
yeah,
It's simple corrections, but
yeah,
they did do it. I mean,
yeah.
I knocked
Like
them
they forced,
all
they
week
forced,
for
yeah,
yeah,
like that interception on like that Darius like had. That's what kind of the mindset. The first one when Kirk Cousins, when Justin Jefferson kind of ran a bad route and Darius picked it off in the end zone. The Jonathan Gannon's DNA and how he wants to run the defense and how his defensive philosophy is. Eventually, a quarterback is going to make a mistake. You're fine with taking the 4-yard run game. Like we'll give you the 4-yard rush on first down. But eventually, on these 10, 11, 12 play drives, you're going to make a mistake. We will get a turnover or a sack or something like that. That's why they play the two-man high shell back defense. Sorry. That's kind of what their philosophy, that's what the Vic Fangio philosophy is. And that interception to Slay is kind of the proof in the pudding that it can work. Kirk Cousins, of course, makes a massive mistake there. That's a big play because it was kind of bracket coverage on Justin Jefferson. So you're right. The bones of his philosophy and defense was there tonight.
yeah, and they good job of stacking the box actually and having enough guys in the tackle box to actually have some kind of gap responsibility in the running game, and they kind of shut down Dalvin Cook, and that's what happens when you have enough guys in there. The 5-2 front with 5 guys on the line, 2 linebackers, whether or not it was Kaiser and TJ or it was TJ and Johnson Garner Johnson, it worked for them. They fitted the run well. Some really good timely blitzes. There was a couple times where they got caught in a sub package with Marlon Tuipulotu, and trying to think of who the end was on that drive. Doesn't matter. Where they can't sub out, and you can clearly see they want to have specific packages in there when they're running their all out blitzes. They want to be in the nickel formation. They want to have a certain group of linebackers out there. They want Kaiser and TJ on the field when they're running those packages. And all late in the game when they put Kawan Wallace in instead of Kaiser White, thought that was kind of interesting as well.
They had Josiah Scott and Kayvon Wallace rotating as the third safeties tonight.
Yeah,
on the 3 safety package. I did notice that. You tracked the stats of Darius Slay against Justin Jefferson tonight. Darius Slay was absolutely incredible. Thomas, what were the final stats tonight of Darius Slay 1-on-1 with Justin
6 targets, 0 catches, 3 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. So only 1 pass that he didn't get his hands on.
That was you tweeted that was one of the best quarterback performances you've seen in a long time. I'm gonna agree with that. He was incredible. And it was he was making he was doing kind of it all. He was staying with them, running with them. He was jumping routes. He was reading routes like that. That read to the fade, like he was on it. Darius Slay was on an island on that play, and he read Justin Jefferson perfectly. Knew it was going to the back corner of the end zone. It was a pick. Like Darius Slay's it, man. He's the last year regular season and to start the season, like he has been playing some incredible football. He's been a top 5 cornerback in the NFL since the beginning of 2021. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, we can. I mean, it's been hammered home, and we're gonna keep hammering it home all week long about how well Darius Slay played. He just locked up the top 2 wide receiver in the NFL, held him to nothing on several options.
And Adam Thielen was invisible tonight too. Like James Bradbury, there's a lot of credit.
Exactly, I was about to say James Bradbury.
He had a big pass breakup on
key
third
downs.
Yeah, on that third down, he had a huge pass breakup. It was Adam Thielen over the middle. Like the fact that he falls in just the lap of the Eagles, it all came to fruition on the defensive side of the ball. Now I will say, like there was the Vikings were like the Vikings offense wasn't invisible. But I noticed when they on the touchdown drive and when the Eagles defense wasn't shutting them down, it was because of the pass rush. Pass rush just wasn't there all night. They had of course a better game than they did week 1. I thought Josh Sweat looked like the best defensive lineman tonight. He had some
Again,
big plays. Yeah, again, he's the best player on the Eagles defensive line. I think it's solidified now.
yeah, and it was so unfortunate with he should have had 2 sacks in this game. It's so unfortunate that they catch a pinky,
Yeah,
a pinky in the face mask and then call that. I mean, sure you can call it, but I mean it was so needless. Like the sack would have been there regardless. So that's just unfortunate. But I mean, should have had 2 sacks and was close to getting at least one more from what I saw. But yeah, they did a good job of timing the blitzes when they did send the whole house.
yeah,
TJ Edwards was really efficient in this game.
he had a much better game this week.
As in coverage, made a 3rd down stop with a pass breakup. He was the guy getting the pressures on Kirk Cousins on those interceptions and the pass breakups where they the Darius Slay pass breakups when they were down there in the red zone. He obliterated Dalvin Cook on at least 2 blitzes that I saw that just threw Cook into the face of Cousins and kind of derailed the pass there. Can't wait to watch the tape from TJ in this game. I think it's going to be really, really pleasantly surprising how well he played. I mean, he's a good player, but I really think it's underrated how well he played in this game.
I thought Darius Slay struggled. Or not Darius Slay. I thought TJ Edwards struggled last week a little bit. So I thought it was a nice bounce back win or a nice bounce back game.
I mean, the entire front struggle last week, and really that was a weird consequence of Gannon continuously being in sub packages and in nickel packages against heavier formations. It was such a weird game defensively last week.
Sure think anything else on the defense. Marcus Epps had some big hits. Like you said,
He did.
He's fighting. He's scary coming downhill. Like I wouldn't want to be.
Maddox got the pick.
Yeah, Avonte Maddox. He got up on that one too. He
did.
Tough, man. But yeah,
looked good as well on some of the slay. Sorry to cut you off there. Got really good there on a couple of those slay picks as well. I noticed when they're replaying that. Again, really looking forward to watching that. It looked like Avonte had tight coverage in the slot all game here.
Yeah, I can't tell if the Eagles best. I'm trying to figure out what the best combination of players on the Eagles defense is at time. Let's say you need to stop. I can't tell if you want 2 linebackers or 3 linebackers. I still haven't figured out kind of what the best combination is, but it looks like John again is he's clearly not afraid. I'm kind of mixing it up. And we'll definitely find out soon. But it feels like when there's more DBs sort of on the field, and you kind of have the two only Kaiser White and TJ Edwards package right now, I do feel like that's probably the Eagles' best way to go about it. Or and then a bear front, so some sort of 5-2 defense. Or
I was about to say, I think
Yeah.
If I was to pick one formation and one defensive group right now that I think would work the best is when they have five defensive linemen on the field and rushing everybody. They have TJ Edwards as linebacker, and then they have a combination. They have Slay, Bradbury, Chauncey, Avonte, and Epps. And then because those guys that group of DBs can man match with just about everyone while you're sending 6 guys from pressure. That's what they did tonight. That worked.
So Jalen Hurts just tweeted Hurts donut with a wink and #fly goes fly. Jalen Hurts getting some
shit
saucy on Twitter. He's that flex man, that flex after the touchdown pass.
And then the fact that it kept going because that was the second pass there.
Sorry, I just had to. I wanted to throw that out there. That Hurts tweet. I'm trying to think of anything else in defense. Like I said, Marcus Epps, he's freaky. When he's coming down, I wouldn't want to be a tight end over the middle of the field when Marcus Epps is running at you. CJ Gardner Johnson, didn't see much of him tonight. That drop by Irv Smith. That's true. That Irv Smith drop was key because it looked like Gardner Johnson was a little out of position.
Yeah, that could have been really bad.
KJ Osborne of the Vikings was invisible today, so that means Avonte Maddox did a good job in the slot on him. This was a very encouraging performance from the Eagles defense. This was a complete kind of flip flop from last week, and I'm happy that Jonathan Gannon and this Eagles defense bounced back because it looked like it was worrying that was going to be the problem with the team. We said it before the season. We thought this Eagles offense was at least at a top 10 kind of floor. They were going to have a good offense just with Hurts rushing ability, how many good players they have. So the Eagles defense is going to be very key for the rest of the season going forward, and they're going to have to do their job, and they did tonight.
100%.
Okay. Anything else from this game that you want to touch on? trying to think any like funny moments happen, anything like that.
Eagles fans doing the skull chant.
Yeah, Eagles doing the skull chant was pretty funny. You knew that was coming, and at one point the 38-7 was alive for a little bit. It was 24-7 at halftime. That was the halftime score in the NFC Championship game. You know that would have been really funny. Eagles, that would have been an all-time Eagles Twitter kind of 2 hours if the game finished 38-7. The memes and the jokes would have been pretty good.
Yeah, I can tell my girlfriend just got up now. It's that late in the morning now where people are actually waking up.
The dedication, man, I love it.
You can come in the picture.
Do it away. You can come in the picture.
She's leaving.
She's leaving. So does she watch Eagles games ever?
Oh yeah, whenever they're playing 7 p.m. and the 10 p.m. games, it was kind of cute in the beginning when we started dating. She would wake up in the middle of the night and she was like, "Come on, I really want to watch the game. You just wake me up." And then I wake her up and she fell asleep on the couch immediately. So it's like, let's not do that. And also, when they were losing in the middle of the night, I wouldn't force that on anyone waking up in the middle of the night to watch the Eagles lose.
Do you know any other Eagles fans in Denmark?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, they all do the same.
Huh. What's the most like fan base team I guess that you see in Europe? Is it
Patriots?
Patriots, yeah. Tom Brady probably.
Yeah. A lot of Patriots fans.
Are there any NFL games on TV? Like if you go to like a pub or something like that, are there NFL games on TV there? I'm curious.
If you go to what?
Because NFL's trying to get bigger in Europe, right? They got Tom Brady going to Germany. They're flexing their Europe muscles as of late. Are there like games on at the bars and TV in Denmark and whatnot?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it's because it's usually on Sundays. So like, who goes to the bars too much on Sunday nights? Because most people are working day after. You don't really go on like Thursday nights. It's the middle of the night, so literally no one's open. So it's not really that big of a thing. On when the Saturday games are on, like late, isn't that December?
Yeah, like week 6, 15, 16, 17 or something like that.
Yeah, some of the games can be on there. But other than that, really not too much. By the way, talking of Tom Brady going to Munich, did you see the prices for those tickets? We looked at because we were discussing whether going down there.
My brother said that because my brother's living in Germany. My brother plays professional hockey in Germany right now. He said they're like over 2,000 a pop.
Oh, it's right now. It's up to
3,000 now. Okay, Jesus Christ. Is that the first?
Insane.
It's the first game in Germany, I think, though, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But also, like, what is it? Packers Giants? That's also around 1,000.
Yeah,
it's wild. Literally cheaper for me to fly to Philadelphia, watch a game there, and then fly back home than it is watching a game in Munich.
I've got my eyes set on November 27th. I think I'm going to go for the Sunday night against the Packers.
Ooh,
yeah. Hey, maybe get some time off. Take a peek. I was thinking like I've done the 2 games. I've been to 3 Eagles games and they've all been days games because like again I'm from Toronto, can't kick it up there too much, but been going basically the last 3 years and it's I've done the 1:00 games, so I was thinking I'd do a night game this time.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Okay, we just got way off topic there. Anything else on this game before? I have a couple big.
We're gonna get way into it during the week.
I have a couple big picture kind of takeaways I just want to throw out there. Just some congratulations, I guess. How about Shane Steichen? Shane Steichen take over play calling for the Eagles about midway through last year. The Eagles offense has looked a lot more creative since he's done it. The Eagles offense, the play calling has been a lot better. He's now 2-0. He got a lot of screen time today on the broadcast. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were giving him a ton of love. This might be a sneaky guy to watch out for if he continues to do well for head coaching jobs next year.
We'll see.
Think about what teams do nowadays, right? Like they just hire younger offensive minds with that kind of bold offensive guys. He has like not the resume, but like the shell of what a NFL team would want, and then you want the more, I guess, production out of it. But through about half a year of last year and a little bit, and now this year, he's pretty smart. This offense is really creative. Like it's fun to watch. Like I don't think next year on Shane Steichen can get enough credit for the creativity and how they're kind of getting Hurts easy layups and touches, or not touches, sorry, layup passes and good intermediate pass concepts and whatnot. I think that's kind of a good takeaway from this game as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they keep rolling like they do right now, naturally it's going to be a big demand.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, I think that's it. Thanks, guys, for checking us out or checking this episode out. Sorry,
Checking us out.
I'm tired. I also need to go to bed. It's been a long night. It's been a long day in general. I got work in the morning. Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. Thomas, we'll be back sometime later this week to kind of dive deeper into this game and preview Carson Wentz, baby, next week.
Yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
Eagles, Washington. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I wish it was in Philly. It's in Washington though, so it's not gonna get the same kind of vibes of it. But
no, but I think fans of Philly have really arranged a trip there. I think it's gonna be so many Eagles fans.
Oh yeah, and that field, Washington barely selling tickets right now. My dad's a big Washington fan. He's looking at cheap tickets. They have the cheapest tickets in the NFL right now. So
yeah, that has changed since last time. When I went to Washington in 2015, we were at the Eagles home opener against the Cowboys. I think we paid like, speaking of ticket prices, I think we paid like $400 for literally the worst seats in on Lincoln Financial Field, and then we paid around $50 for the Washington tickets, and we were right by the sidelines of the Eagles sideline.
Not close enough. We're going to fall over the railing though.
No, we were way down. We were too low down there.
That's funny. So yeah, Eagles Washington week 3. Thomas, I'll preview that at some point. Thanks for checking this episode out. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll talk to you later.